Welcome to part 2 of the video and the last part. When we raise money from Sukuk, which is also known as Islamic bonds and sometimes known as investment certificates, we need to understand the importance of usufruct. An importance of usufruct derived from the creation of SPV, which includes special purpose vehicle and many such types of special purpose vehicles. Usufruct is divided into two parts, which known as usu and fructs. Usu means right to use something directly without damaging or altering it, while fructs refer to the right to enjoy the fruits of the property being used, that is, to profit from the real property by leasing it. Now, usufruct is predominantly of two types. Number one, perfect and imperfect. By perfect, the usufructuary, which means the individual. Remember, usufructuary can be an individual, or it could be a corporate, or it could be an implied SPV. That's very important. Implied SPV, special purpose vehicle. Because gone are the days when the world were having only SPVs. Now we have variety of SPV, and one of the varieties include implied SPVs. So I repeat, when we speak about usufructuary, please do not make your mind that I'm talking about an individual. I am talking about an individual, a corporate, probably SPV, and also an implied SPV. So please do take a note of that. Like I clearly mentioned, there is a contract type called express and implied contracts. They are not easy contracts. I repeat, we have adhesion contracts, unconscionable contracts, unilateral contracts, bilateral contracts, multilateral contracts, express and implied contracts, voidable contracts, auto enforceable contracts, unvoidable contracts, third party contracts, set of contracts. Please do take a note of that. So, in a perfect condition, the usufructuary can use the property and profit but cannot change the substantial in a substantial way. But in an imperfect usufruct, the usufructuary does have a right to alter the property. Now, this is as per the legal definition of usufruct, but market is changing, and now we have hybrid usufruct. And what is hybrid usufruct? It includes some component of the perfect and it includes some component of the imperfect, which means that it is blended. Like it is neither 100% perfect nor it is 100% imperfect. It is blended, which means that suppose there is a mall company of Saudi, taking a hypothetical example, who wish to raise 2 billion of Sukuk. And suppose it's a multi-tranche structure. Now, please refer our earlier videos about multi-tranche structure. And I'm not repeating that in this video because it consumes time. In a multi-tranche structure, they are creating a unilateral SPV. Now, in a unilateral SPV, which means that the originator having everything in the one SPV, which having their own advantage and their own disadvantage. Let it be honest, because unilateral SPV is having some pros and cons. We cannot run away from that. But having said that, suppose that that Saudi mall company wanted to raise 2 billion US dollars, Sukuk, and it is not a sovereign Sukuk. Now, by sovereign means it's an individual company, private company. It is not a government who is raising that money. Now, hybrid usufruct means that in a SPV, you are listing the assets. By listing doesn't mean on an exchange, means you are listing the assets. Now, in these assets are backed up by contracts, legal contracts, which, by the way, you cannot run. Having said that, some part of the asset, the usufructory, can use as a perfect, which means that minor alteration is okay, not a big deal, but major alteration not possible. Some part is imperfect, which means it can even be a major alteration, while the few is hybrid. Now guys, as we speak, the Sukuk market is developing. But unfortunately, a good level of discussion is required to have more and more best practices, so that the corporate entities, whether they are listed corporate entities or they are non-listed corporate entities, they can have the best practices. And I haven't touched a very hot concept called sovereign Sukuk, because probably I would have a separate video in that regards. In a sovereign Sukuk, things are completely different than what I'm talking today. Henceforth, it would be advisable for the corporates, whether they are listed corporates in any country or they are non-listed, means private corporates. When I say about private corporates, I am talking about the family owned also, to consider the hybrid usufruct. This is the best practice. Probably another couple of years from now, another few years from now, we would have a better version than hybrid usufruct. But as we speak, we are away from the bookish definition, which is known as the perfect and the imperfect usufruct. So the Sukuk entities, the originators, the special purpose vehicle creators, the structures, the structuring people, they need to understand that the hybrid usufruct is really very important. And this is what the purpose of this video. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting Group. You know my personal number, which is +91 9899 242 978. Alternatively, you know our back office, which is +91 9818 485 155. Have a great time ahead.